Hello, everyone. Uh, this is JC Barnett coming to you again with another conversation with somebody that I respect tremendously. Um, this person I've been friends with for years and years and years. I can't even count how many years back, but since we were very, very young. Miss Dara Bishop, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me this morning.
Wonderful. We speak on an everyday basis.
Absolutely.
And we have had some very interesting conversations that have led everywhere: faith, religion, or faith, family, etc. And, you know, another common interest between the two of us is faith.
Absolutely.
And that is a common theme for anybody who has been listening to me speak to my friends and people that I respect a tremendous amount long enough. They understand that we love the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to give you an opportunity, first and foremost, to let people know really who you are, how you have become this successful human being. And it doesn't have to necessarily, and you don't have to speak so much about what your career is so much as it is why you are who you are,
mm-hmm.
and why you've been able to be successful.
Gotcha. So growing up, I always knew that success was important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my grandma go through different things in her life, but she also lived a little better than her mom and her grandmother.
Mm.
So I believe generationally that every generation is supposed to have more and do more than the last.
Yeah.
And so I've seen that with my grandmother, and then my parents are very active in everything that they do.
Yes, they are.
So that was an example for me to say, okay, how do I extend the things that they've started in order for it to be me who is giving back.
Yeah.
Is important. And I hope that that is an example that I'm setting for my son, my children. So that way they are able to give back on an even greater scale, hopefully more globally than I have been able to locally and within the state.
Right.
So that's truly what drives my desire to succeed, is that I want to make sure that I just continue to move the needle forward for my family.
Yeah. Ain't that what we want for our kids?
Yes.
For them to be greater
yes.
than who we are. And I think in our own respective manner, we've done things and gone beyond and achieved greater than some of our parents have. But without them,
right.
we wouldn't be anything.
Right.
And so we have developed this life of servant,
yes.
being a servant. And, in coming up and being able to witness who your father was to so many in the community, who your mother is and was to so many in the community. And now you being able to step into roles like that. What is it that stood out the most to you about your mother and father that you were able to take from them and apply to your own life?
So you used servant. They both have servants' hearts. They are both naturally givers. And so I have seen them be blessed within their lives because they were able to give to others. And that's biblical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
For you to be able to give, because you do that as Christ did.
Right.
And so that is the example that they set for me, to know that blessings come in all different forms, shapes, sizes, everything. And even us waking up is the blessing. That means that he has something else for us to accomplish.
Yes. Yep.
So I think that that is what I've seen from the example of my parents. He continues to wake them up because he knows that their journey isn't done. Whatever that looks like. They have continued to just say, oh yeah, I'll serve on this board. Oh yes, I'll do that. But they love doing those things.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have it any other way. When they retired, they could have gave it all up and said, no, we're done with everything. But I feel like in retirement, They do even more giving
Right.
and serving than they even did when they were working full-time jobs.
That's special. That's a great example for all of us. And it's funny because my mother retired, has been retired for, wow, it's 20 years now.
Wow.
And she got more active. My dad, he's just one of those individuals who recently retired from GM, couldn't stay still. He's back to work. And, and we're supposed to never stop moving.
Correct.
I don't think the Lord ever expects us to stop moving. That's not what his will for our life is.
That's right.
And so, being so active and involved in a community as you are, your heart, I'm sure, is tugged in a number of different places. Where would you say more so that you feel that tug that, is not from a political standpoint, not from a career standpoint, but from an individual standpoint and how you make a connection to people? What does that look like for you?
So growing up here, born, raised, as you well know, we want to see our community move forward.
Yes.
We want to see progress. And so that's kind of the area that I live in, is progress and moving forward. Because if we don't move forward, then who are we?
Yeah.
What do we have to give back to the state or the nation or the world if we're stagnant? And I don't want our community to be stagnant. I want us to be able to say, we have added this to our community. We have done that to add to our community. Because I think building community is so important, and the things that we decide that we want to do, where we want to go, the connections that we make, the networking pieces. We always talk a lot about legacy.
Right.
And so legacy is important within our community. Reputation is important in our community. So I think that that's the foundation of why I try to stay as involved as I am. When it comes to the people pieces, I enjoy learning and getting to know people who are so much different than me.
Yeah.
They come from different backgrounds, whether it's religion, ethnicity, socioeconomic, whether it's from different religious backgrounds, whatever the case may be. I enjoy those pieces, just learning people, because no one is the same. Even the children that we give birth to, they are different than us. They have some of the same similarities, but they're still uniquely themselves. And so just to hear people, their stories about where they've come from, the impacts that they've had in the community or within the community, the things that they've done, I just find that fascinating. And so me being able to be in the community and serve in different capacities, I have met a plethora of people that I would not have otherwise known unless I was involved in X, Y, and Z organization.
Right, right. And so you have a son. He's a tall kid, fine young man.
Yeah.
And I know that he's watching you closely. You're instilling these values in him. He's going to grow up stronger and taller in stature and in all these areas in his life. And do you have anything that you see in regards to the direction that you see him growing, as far as how he will generate his own impact in the community based off of these examples that he's had before him? Because he's had some strong examples.
Yes.
And not that we have so much an expectation for them, but what expectation do you see that he's developing for himself?
So it's funny you say that. We call him a gentle giant because that is
he is.
That is his personality naturally. He's quiet, keep to himself, a man of few words, but he's there.
Right.
So one area that he talks about more than anything, and he tries to really help me in doing that piece, is he doesn't like to see people go hungry.
Wow.
That really disturbs him.
Yeah.
That is an area of when he sees a homeless person or children who may not look like they could have gotten a meal when we go to different cities and things like that, that really bothers him. And he questions, well, Mom, why can't they eat? Why can't we provide them with food? Why can't we do X, Y, and Z, B? And so I try really, really hard to, I'll take him to the store with me, we'll collect food, and we'll give to the pantry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I tell him, I said, this is your way of giving back to feel that area in your spirit and in your heart that you want to do. Because you are right, not everybody does get to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, this is the way that you're able to contribute back. But that is an area that, if nothing else, he is adamant that he wants people to eat.
That truly touches my heart, because since as far back as I can remember, feeding or feeling like, first of all, I have developed this passion for cooking.
Okay.
And I feed my family, but I too have felt that call or need or feel to provide food.
Yes.
And whatever that looks like, whether it's going to the store or cooking it myself. And so I love that about your son.
Yeah.
I love that about him. I love that in his heart. And I can very much see that he as well is a giver.
Mm-hmm.
Just like as you described, that's what you saw in your parents. That's what you developed in having your heart for yourself. And that's who he is and who he's become.
Exactly. And I'm thankful that he is able to see those examples, because I want him to contribute back. And I know his contribution may or will look different than my own. And that's okay. Like, I don't have no qualms about it.
Yeah.
Like, what my interest in giving back to the community will most likely look different than his. But I just want him to make sure that he is giving.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter to me how you do it, but I need you to give back. Yeah. Because that is, as a people, what we are supposed to do.
Right.
And so if I can help feed him and his desire to give in whatever capacity that he wants to, then I will continue to do those things. So that way, as he grows older, because one day he going to have to leave my house. Love him to death, but you're going to have to leave and start your own life. And I want you to do that. But if it's in this community or whatever community he goes to, I want him to be able to do those things, because that is what builds reputation, legacy, and the things that we want for our future generations.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's so profound, because at this stage in our life, it's a very weird stage. Me and you are very close in age. We're growing older ourselves, but our parents are at a stage in their lives where they are informing us of just how close they are to not being here any longer.
That part.
And so one day we will be where they are in the blink of an eye.
Yes.
And so when we're gone, these things that we know and have learned throughout our lifetime have to be passed down.
Correct.
And the generations behind us have to be to the world what we tried our very best to be.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thank you for giving me your time and energy and just being able to talk as we always do.
Yes, definitely. Thank you everyone for listening in. God bless.